So, my story happened when I was in my high school days with my sister. Back when I was in high school, I really loved this anime called Black Butler. It was about a demon having a contract with a human. I was really addicted to that anime, so I used the pentagram in the anime as my wallpaper. A couple of days went by fine, until one day, something bizarre happened. My sister, who was in college at that time, and I, who was in high school, shared the same room. We had a bunk bed. My sister slept on top while I slept on the bottom. Since I was still in high school, I always set an alarm for 4 a.m. Before sleeping, I always put my phone beside me so I could easily turn off the alarm and wake up. So me and my sister were about to fall asleep. We turned off the lights and hit the bed. While we were sleeping, my alarm rang. I tried to grab my phone while my eyes were still closed because I was still sleepy. But while trying to search for my phone, I was a bit confused. I couldn't find my phone beside me. The phone kept ringing, and I even asked my sister in a sleepy tone, "Where's my phone?" She answered back in a sleepy yet annoyed tone, "I don't know." Since the alarm was still ringing for like 5 minutes, I asked her again, "I can hear it up there. Stop joking around and give it to me." Then she answered back, "Okay, I found it. Here you go." So I opened my eyes a bit, but my vision was still blurry since it was dark and I was half asleep, so I didn't pay much attention to my surroundings. My sister's arm stretched out from the top bunk to give me my phone, but when I looked at it, it had thin, long fingers with sharp nails on it. I was still sleepy at that time, so I didn't fully comprehend what happened. When I looked at my phone, it was 3 a.m., but I was sure my alarm was always set for 4 a.m. Again, I was too sleepy, so I brushed everything off. When it was 6 a.m., I was having a conversation with my sister. I asked her, "Why didn't you stop the alarm? You had my phone, right?" And then came the scary part. My sister replied in a confused tone, "What the hell are you talking about? I was never awake to begin with. I was never talking to you that early either." My heart stopped for a moment, and cold sweat ran down my cheeks as I replied, "Then who was I talking to? And who gave me my phone?" Then I remembered everything. My sister and I looked at each other in horror, and that day, I've never had that wallpaper on my walls again. That night, my sister and I both slept on the bottom bed. Until this day, my sister and I still remember that horrifying experience in our lives. Sometimes I wonder, what if I hadn't been sleepy that night and actually stood up from my bed? This happened to me about 9 months ago. I'm still recovering from everything that happened. I used to be a shy girl with no friends. I never used social media because I thought it would distract me from my studies. But on January 2nd, I decided to try Instagram for the first time, hoping maybe I could finally make some friends. While scrolling, I found an account that posted funny videos. It caught my attention, so I messaged the account. The person running it was the same age as me. For privacy, I'll call her Renata. We became close fast. At first, we just shared funny reels. Then we started talking about our personal lives. I told her how lonely I felt and how she was basically my only friend. She even sent pictures of her family and gave me her address, telling me I could visit someday. But after about a month, she suddenly stopped replying. I kept sending her reels, asking if she was okay. Nothing. A week later, she finally messaged me, but all she said was, "I'm fine." I told her how worried I was, but she said everything was okay. Looking back, that was the first red flag. After that, whenever I sent her something funny, she reacted with just an emoji. And anytime I tried to talk about something deeper, she replied with, "Oh, Then one day, she sent me a message I will never forget. It was long, detailed, and it described exactly how to kidnap and kill a person. I was terrified. I thought it had to be a joke, but nothing about it sounded playful. The same girl who used to send me memes was now writing like a complete psychopath. Then she asked me for my address. That was when I knew something was truly wrong. I sent her a voice note telling her that what she sent me made me extremely uncomfortable and that she shouldn't ever message me like that again. Honestly, I could not even finish reading that essay about killing someone. I just couldn't. Her reply was even more disturbing. She texted, "Which part of that message made you uncomfortable?" I stopped replying and I blocked her immediately. About a week later, I went out of town to visit my aunt, and that's when I realized something strange. The address Renata had given me earlier was near where I was staying. Even though I was hurt and scared, a part of me still cared. She had been my only friend. So I decided to visit her. It would have been our first time meeting in person. The neighborhood was confusing, but the neighbors helped me find the house after I showed them her photo. I didn't understand why they helped so quickly. Now I do. The house was big, just like the photos she showed me. Quiet, still, almost too still. I rang the doorbell. A woman opened the door. It was Renata's mother. I nervously said, "Hi, I'm here to meet Renata." Her mother looked like she was about to faint. A man, her older brother Ryan, rushed over, looking angry and terrified at the same time. That's when I noticed it, a framed picture of Renata on the wall, with flower garlands around it. My whole body went cold. They told me Renata was dead. She had been killed by a psychopath. The police were still searching for him, and the worst part, the way she was killed was exactly the same method described in the message that was sent to me. I told her family everything. They were devastated. Her brother called the police and tried to comfort me. After that, I don't know what happened. I didn't ask. I didn't want to. I never went near that house again. The whole situation left me terrified and completely alone. My family helped me through it, and therapy helped too. I'm doing better now, but I still think about it, and I keep wondering, what if I had given that account my real address? Who was behind that account? And why were they messaging me from my friend's phone, even after killing her? June 9th, 2013, Gifford Pinchot National Forest in Cougar, Washington, one of the oldest national forests in the United States. A 19-year-old woman went camping here with her friends, and late at night, she walked alone into the deep woods. She disappeared and has never been found. This story is true. Her name was Maureen Kelly, born in 1993. She had gone camping at Canyon Creek Campground with several friends. But during the trip, something changed. Out of nowhere, she said, "I'm going on a spiritual quest." Then she did something no one expected. She stripped off all of her clothes and put on a small pouch around her waist. Inside that pouch were only 3 things: a knife, matches, and a compass. That was it. No food, no water, no lantern. She promised her friends, "I'll be back before midnight." And then she walked straight into the forest. One of her friends, Amanda Ziegler, later said that Maureen had talked many times about wanting a spiritual experience. But even she could not understand why Maureen chose that moment, or why she went in completely unclothed. The group eventually fell asleep, and when morning came and Maureen had still not returned, they called for help. Authorities launched a massive search, more than 100 people, helicopters sweeping the forest canopy, search teams combing the undergrowth. They found a set of footprints on a gravel road near Canyon Creek. They matched Maureen's size. Canine units were brought in to follow the trail, but then something strange happened. The footprints just stopped in the middle of the road. No sign of where she went next. The dogs could not pick up her scent. It was as if she had simply vanished. Investigators suggested hypothermia was the most likely explanation. Nighttime temperatures were low, and she had walked into the forest with no clothing at all. But if she died from exposure, why was her body never found? Online, people who claimed to know her described the case the same way. Strange, unsettling, unexplainable. Some believed she was kidnapped, though the odds of meeting a violent stranger in those remote woods at night were extremely small. Others thought she may have crawled under a fallen log or into a crevice to escape the cold and never made it out. But the biggest question remains, why did she suddenly strip naked and walk alone into the forest? What was she thinking? What did she believe she would find? 12 years later, there are still no answers. Maureen Kelly remains missing, and her disappearance remains one of Washington's most haunting unsolved mysteries.